Often profane, rarely profound. That's our tagline.
Less sacred, more profane.
This is the Book of Life. I'm Heidi Rabinowitz. Today, I've got a bonus episode for you. One of my favorite podcasts is Unorthodox from Tablet Magazine, so I was excited when hosts Mark Oppenheimer, Stephanie Butnick, and Liel Leibovitz came to West Palm Beach to tape a live show at Temple Israel. I almost chickened out of going up to meet them after the show, but luckily I talked myself out of my fangirl jitters, and I snagged this interview. You can hear the West Palm Beach live show with Jew of the Week Miami Jewish Film Festival director Igor Steirenberg and Gentile of the Week Rocco Mangal, owner of Rocco's Tacos, at tabletmag.com/unorthodox. Please stick around after this interview for the end credits, when I'll tell you about a fun new project I want you to join me for. 3 words. Call me Ishmael. Okay, so I'm here at Temple Israel in West Palm Beach with the crew of the Unorthodox podcast. We just had a live taping of the show after services, and so I'd like to welcome you guys, and I'd like you to tell a little bit about your podcast for any of my listeners who might not have heard it.
I'm Mark Oppenheimer. I'm the founder of the podcast. I recruited 2 of my colleagues at Tablet Magazine about a year and a half ago to start this podcast. We think we're the largest Jewish-themed podcast in the world, and we have on guests, Jewish and Gentile. We bring the news of the Jews to all of our listeners, and we tell bad Holocaust jokes and drink tequila. Is there such a thing as a good Holocaust joke?
Well,
a good one?
A good one is like something that doesn't make light of suffering, but plays on maybe our over-reliance on that in Jewish identity. I don't know, whatever.
Does it punch up or punch down?
It punches up.
It punches up?
You want to hear a good Holocaust joke?
Sure.
Steve Bannon. Too soon?
How about should we tell the one that we told on episode 13 from Morty's grandson? Yeah. All right.
Knock, knock. Wait, no. Wait. You be the knock, knock.
Okay. No. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Sorry. We'll start over. Okay, knock, knock.
Who's there?
The Holocaust.
The Holocaust who?
You said you'd never forget.
Slow clap.
That was from like a 10-year-old.
Yeah,
so
that was
that's
awesome.
Not ours.
Right. We wish we could claim credit.
But we're happy to be here in southern Florida. It's much nicer weather than in New York and New Haven, where we're from. It's been nice. We did a service here, which was really, really pretty. And then we got the chance to just sort of do what we do in front of an audience. I'd say like a pretty packed room of like 200 people here at Temple Israel. It seems like a lot of the people in the crowd did know the podcast, some didn't. And for a live show, it's always really fun to put on a show that someone who's never listened to us before can at least enjoy, maybe not understand fully all the inside jokes, but that someone who just shows up for a nice night gets entertained. And I think, hopefully, we did that.
So what would you want a new listener to know that, what would be the pitch that would attract them to listen?
Basically, if maybe you don't go to synagogue, maybe you don't really do much Jewishly, but you sort of want a little bit of something. So what we offer, I think, is for 40 minutes a week, you get to sort of immerse yourself in what I imagine is like a conversation you might hear at a deli, a very sort of menschy, a Hamish conversation, basically. And it doesn't require going anywhere. It doesn't require living in a place where there are a lot of other Jews. It just requires tuning in for half hour a week. And I think that that's what we offer.
Often profane, rarely profound. That's our tagline.
Less sacred, more profane.
I was just going to add, it's if you're eavesdropping on what some Jewish journalists who love but are often fed up with their fellow Jews talk about when no one's listening.
When people stop being polite.
When people
start getting real.
Yeah, it's so real.
So, in this difficult time,
What are you referring to?
We need all the tikkun olam we can get. So in what way does Unorthodox contribute to healing the world?
I don't think we're trying to heal the world, which I think is a really good first start, right? We don't have a really huge aim. I think the idea is just escape a little, learn about the news, but also have a little fun with it. Know your history, know your heritage, but have fun with it, play with it a little bit, and just escape and just laugh for a little bit.
I think we're absolutely trying to do tikkun olam, and here's how. We talk about everything, and we talk about everything honestly. There is nothing we don't bring up. There is no opinion that's taboo. We bring anyone into the fold, and we do it in a way that respects everyone's opinions, but also is very conscious of the real divides in our society.
I love the format that you have a Jew of the Week and a Gentile of the Week. What is the strangest or most interesting or unusual guest that you've ever had? Either Jewish or Gentile.
I don't know. I mean,
What a great question.
That is a great question.
The woman who loved being spanked and wrote the book about it is one who was like very hard to deal with.
I wasn't there for that one.
Yeah.
That was the only
right.
one that I wasn't there. Gillian Keenan, who I think we were over.
Unexpected guest, sorry to interrupt, was David Duchovny, who basically came on. We were like, oh, cool, a celebrity who's going to talk to us. He actually was so smart, was telling us about his Yale PhD in like mid-20th century or 19th century American literature and magic and technology.
Mark.
So talking to someone like that was really surprising, where you're like, I'm going to get just like, a boring interview but with a celebrity who has something to promote, and actually having a really interesting, in-depth conversation with them. So that was my favorite.
I agree. Duchovny was amazing. I'm trying to think, like, who was one? I mean, we had some amazing Gentiles. Duchovny's half Jewish. He was a Jew of the Week. I mean, I'm thinking Henry Alford, Simon Doonan, I mean, the German woman who has the one-woman show about German guilt.
Yeah, that was amazing.
What was her name?
Tessa Keim.
Tessa Kaimis Kim?
Miss Kim.
Keimes-Kim.
You were very into.
I wasn't in the studio. I was not in the studio for how I was doing it remotely. But she had worked as a masseuse or a dominatrix or
No, she was
an actress
I think
is
she
what
was
we
actually
call
a
it.
physical trainer. She was a trainer.
she was a trainer.
And it always got sexual,
And
like
your
Jewish
mind
guys.
goes
Yeah.
to-
Jewish men she talked about how when she was a trainer, Jewish men used to hire her. They liked the fact that she was sort of a tall Germanic woman. She had moved from Germany to New York to pursue a career in acting, and she had a lot of training clients who really were into like having
And her father
a tall
told
Germanic
her
woman.
to not go into acting, because Hollywood is controlled by the Jews. They will never let the German.
And she was so down with the Jews. She was absolutely such a sister. I really did love her.
A Schwester.
Eine Schwester, ja.
Jawohl, Herr.
Ja,
Frau Batnick.
traurig.
Oh, I wanted to thank you for having on your show the hosts of Harry Potter and the Sacred Text.
How great are these
Because I discovered it through, Casper and Vanessa, I discovered it through listening to Unorthodox, and now I am listening to that like just one after another religiously. I love it.
Best of the world. They are a phenom. They're your new audio besties.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, and my wife has if she ever were to leave me and marry a gay English Protestant atheist minister, it would absolutely be Casper ter Kuile.
With Natalie Portman.
And I'll be with Natalie Portman. She'll be with Casper ter Kuile.
So is there anything that you would like to share that I haven't thought to ask you?
That's a good question. I feel like, and the podcast community has been talking about this, there still is a barrier to entry for people who think, how would I listen? And it's often people who have phones that have a button on it that would allow them to listen. So I think the podcast community needs more hand-to-hand teaching. Each one teach one. Is if you figured out how to listen, then you have to take a friend and give them a starter podcast. And we aim to be that starter podcast.
And support your Jewish podcast. Listen to as much as you can.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Call Me Ishmael, the Association of Jewish Libraries, and the Jewish Book Council are co-sponsoring a celebration of Jewish story called How Is This Book Different? And we want you to be a part of it. Just call 774-325-0503 between March 27th and April 4th, 2017, and leave a voicemail about a Jewish book that matters to your life. Then listen to everyone's stories at callmeishmael.com. More details on the Book of Life website at bookoflifepodcast.com. If you enjoy the Book of Life podcast, please become a patron at patreon.com/bookoflife. Leave a review on iTunes or a comment on our blog at bookoflifepodcast.com. You can also like our page at facebook.com/bookoflifepodcast. Follow us at twitter.com/bookoflifepod. Email us at bookoflifepodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 561-206-2473. The Book of Life is a podcast service of the Feldman Library at Congregation B'nai Israel in Boca Raton, Florida at cbiboca.org. and is supported in part by the Association of Jewish Libraries at jewishlibraries.org. Our background music is provided by the Freilach Makers Klezmer String Band. Thanks for listening, and happy reading.